that's a tremendous looking trophy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to PlayStation Podcast #1 in the Oceanic. Joining me this week is Ashley Hobley, who just made me re-record the whole intro to the show because he wasn't recording a second ago.
It was like, you only did like 5-10 seconds, so it's not that bad.
It was so much longer than 5-10 seconds.
We have passed the
15
point
seconds.
of no return. Last time we introduced Ciaran first. Hello, Ciaran.
Hi, hello,
You're now,
welcome.
You're now second, thanks to Ashley.
No, that's fine.
Right where he
The person
belongs.
you can pick on this week is Ashley, not me.
No, I finally got you both in the same place at the same time since the debacle that was the episode 2 weeks ago. My revenge will be swift and astute.
All right,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know what I want to talk about because a second ago Ciaran said something to me and I was like, wait. Don't keep talking about that until we start the show, which is the proper way to run a podcast network. I want to hear his thoughts on a game. I told him that he really needs to stream the other day. Now, this game isn't available on PlayStation. This is the #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about games that should be on Vita and or PlayStation systems. And although this game might be hard to port, I think it could be possible with some slight changes, and Ciaran knows parts that I could be talking about that might not work so well on a console, but some slight changes could make this game accessible. This game was like number 10 on my top 10 games of the game of the years when it came out. A little old game called Pony Island. Ciaran, give us your thoughts. What was you going to tell me?
What is that? What is the game?
I want you to try and explain it to the audience.
I don't even know because I don't even really want to. Like, as if they're gonna play it. It was so weird and so frustrating, and it was really odd because my brain was dead, but I couldn't stop playing. Like, I didn't see him at the time. Jack Cruz jumped into chat at one point when I was playing this game. And I was mashing my head over one of the later puzzles in the game. And I did not, and he's like, he wrote in chat, he's like, you do not look like you're having any fun. I was having a lot of fun. I was intrigued, I was curious, I was frustrated at these puzzles because some of the puzzles were weird. But it just messes with you. It's just a game where, like...
It's like a game within a game, isn't it?
It's a game within a game. So pretty much your computer emulates somebody else's computer or arcade machine. And you play a couple levels of this game and then it kind of like introduces you to the story and you go in and out and then there's this different versions of the game.
How good is the end of it though?
Oh, you mean when I like... No, sorry. So... The end of the game, like the real end of the game, happened after I stopped streaming.
Oh, you fucked up.
I fucked up because the credits rolled and there's an after credits section.
Yeah.
And I stopped streaming during the credits and then I was like alone. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's oddly scary too.
Oh, it's the creepiest
It's
shit
creepy
when it
as
starts
fuck.
messing with your computer. Like, imagine if they took the Psycho Mantis fight from Metal Gear Solid 1
and
stretched it for 2.5 hours. Like, that is the level of bullcrap that happens that is creepy.
I think the closest thing I could compare it to for people who listen to this podcast and are mostly PlayStation fans is Undertale that recently came out. I think it's comparable in that especially by the time you reach the end of Undertale, and if you've played through Undertale, the last boss in that is complete nonsense that starts messing with you and also kind of like breaking the fourth wall to a point. Pony Island also does that basically the entire game. Now, I'm just going to mention something. So if you want zero Pony Island spoilers, I need Ciaran's live reaction to a certain part. Click skip forward 30 seconds. But there's a part where it thinks like your computer and you go shut it down. I shut my whole computer down.
Oh, so did I.
It's so good. I felt so dumb afterwards, but I was like, fuck, you got me. No game I've ever played has actually made me turn my console off. But when that part popped up on the screen, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, turn off my computer. My computer's fucking broken.
Because it emulates like the error message boxes that come up on your normal like Windows 7 to Windows 10 PC. And as an IT tech, I see this stuff all the time, and it pops up, and I'm like, oh shit, that's not good. Like, oh, No, the worst and creepiest bit for me, and if this is spoiler territory, is when it somehow gets into your Steam friends.
Yeah.
And like
starts
starts
messaging
messaging you from your Steam friends while you're playing the game. And you're like at a bit where like the person's like, don't talk to anybody else or don't look away.
I
or
believed
something.
it at first too. I
And
was
it's like the
fuck.
message pops up, and it was somebody I haven't spoken to in ages, and it was the creepiest shit ever. It was so weird. The game
glad,
is so bizarre.
It's so bizarre. Yeah, I think with some changes, like obviously the parts we just talked about, they could be changed. But like sometimes some games like that, I'm like, fuck, this is so underrated. Not enough people play this because from that you look at like this. The picture that promotes that game, and you could watch a trailer and just be like, this looks like utter garbage, like why would I want to play this? But then it's like, that's why when I saw, because you brought the Humble Bundle and I saw what was in it the other day, and when I saw Pony Island was in it, I'm like, oh fuck, you need to play this. Like there's no reason for you not to tell, because if you hadn't brought it, I would have to be trying to sell you to spend money on it, but because I already saw you had it in your library, I'm like, no, you need to go play this because it's amazing. And you, at the time you're like, I don't know, Dylan, Pony Island, what the fuck is... And then you come out the other end like, what the fuck is... My whole life has changed. What a
It was
fucking
one of those
game.
things, and it's one of the best parts of. I'm gonna like shamelessly plug something now. Thanks for like. That's why I've started to do the indie games nights every Saturday night over at twitch.tv/Explosion Network. 7 or 8 p.m. till 1 a.m.
Depends on
I
when
think
you
it's
want to start.
8. I think it's 8 p.m. No, I think it's
been
8
both.
p.m. until 1 a.m. is the time I'm keeping.
Right.
And so is that what it says on the schedule?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
Add
I know.
Explosion Pod on Twitter and you can double
At Explosion
check.
Pod, and you can find out whatever time. But if you have an indie darling game that you want me to play, just tweet it at me. Because like Dylan giving me that indie game, I never would have touched Pony Island even though I owned it. And it was fantastic to play. So please tweet at me, send me your suggestions. Any console, I have it all because I'm
I felt
that guy.
I felt good because I was you messaged me at like 1
I
a.m.
messaged
or
you
2
when I
a.m.
was
or
starting. I was messaging you when I started,
And then when
I
you
was
finished
like,
it.
"What the actual fuck
Yeah.
is this?"
when you was messaging me, I was out drinking and I was like half drunk, but even at the time I was still like getting giddy. I'm like, oh, I'm excited he's going to experience this. This is talking about games I think are underrated or underplayed. This is going to be a good point for my first actual topic jumping off point, which was Hellblade got announced the other day. They put out that game has now sold over 500,000 copies, which makes it... Ninja Theory has said that it's made that game profitable sooner than they thought it would have been, which is great because as far as I'm concerned, that is one of the best games of the year, and it's still underplayed. Like, I still don't see enough people on Twitter or wherever else just even considering
played
it. You should play it. You can play it in your indie night, technically.
Technically.
Yeah, I mean, just shove it in there, do it. So I'm going to...
Well, he played before.
I played before
Life
the
is
storm,
Strange.
and I literally was on it, and then Square Enix came up, and I went, "Oh yeah."
No,
This is-
Square Enix. They're tiny.
I'm like,
Yeah.
but
indie
they
place.
they publish it, so I'm like, I'm gonna give this one a slide and be like, this is a hitbox game. I can play that. They're not big.
You're making the rules. So I want to, as we head towards Game of the Year, end of year territory, as we're just about to hit November, I want to give one last shout out to Hellblade and say, if you haven't played that yet, before we reach the end of the year, you should really go play that, everyone listening. And I was going to ask everyone else's, any games from the past year, any games that come straight to mind of anything that you've played that you think's underrated or underplayed from the year 2017 that you think people should be checking out or going back to check out. For some reason, if Jono was here, I guarantee he would be like, Horizon, people need to go back and make sure they remember that. Jono, Horizon sold a fuck ton of copies. People know about Horizon if they just... it's fine. That's not a real answer. Fuck off. Any games come to mind, Ciaran?
For all of you people that took advantage of Black Friday sales and bought a ridiculously cheap Xbox, I'd tell more people to play Cuphead. Because I still think, especially for our fan base in this community, if you have bought an Xbox, you should definitely be playing Cuphead to experience the giddy self-loathing that
Well,
game
I think people
creates.
are just scared of playing it. It's not like
I wouldn't
unheard
be-
of. People are
it's-
just scared.
They're scared. Stop being scared. It's like, PlayStation. It's the same as like Bloodborne. People are scared of playing Bloodborne, but they love it as soon as they start playing it. It's another game I need to go back to. Crap. Also, Friday the 13th. More people play that game.
Yes, Friday the 13th. That's a good choice.
More people play that game.
It was. Is it still? It's current. No, it's over by now. But it was on
By
sale
the time
this
that
past
episode
weekend.
comes out, it's over, yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Also,
games come to your mind, Ash?
The other game I was going to mention, Persona 5. People who started and haven't finished it should hurry up and have got a
Not
lull
happening.
at the end of this year where they
I was
can finish
legit
it.
looking at Persona 5 the other day thinking I should.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play it. But then at the same time, I'm like, am I going to get enough out of it? Am I going to start playing it? I don't know.
Yes. You'll
Is
get
the
I don't know.
streaming
pulled in.
is the streaming embargo still going?
Yep.
Yeah, that's still a thing.
That's once the streaming embargo is lifted, I will buy it and stream it.
It'll
But
never be lifted.
It will
that's-
never.
then
Oh,
I'll
well,
never buy it.
never say never.
10 years. Or when they put out their next
Atlas
game.
could go under.
Atlas could never probably go under.
Okay.
All right, let's get the Explosion Network legal team
Yeah,
ready.
when we want to end the Explosion Network Twitch
We're going out with
account,
Persona
we'll go
5.
out with Persona 5.
It'll take
Well,
down the
I
whole
mean,
company.
We got through nipple piercing and whatever the hell else on stream and throwing up and all sorts of shenanigans. So at this stage, I think we're pretty good, to be honest.
That's
yeah.
all right.
We didn't even
too
get
small to
a
fail.
warning about anything there.
Didn't get a warning. We didn't get anything on Facebook about posting it. There was
No.
It's good. No, it's good. It's good.
It's well, knock on wood and all, but could still happen, I guess, if they just discover it randomly. That'll be interesting. All right. One of the big news stories of the last week was Gazillion shutting down and Marvel Heroes shutting down. So first off, the news came out that Marvel/Disney was shutting down Marvel Heroes, and it was supposed to be shutting down at the end of the year, like December 31st or something around there, I think was the original date. That got moved because like a week after that happened last week, the day before Thanksgiving, which is the perfect time to fire people, I think, Gazillion was all laid off. Just like, hey, happy holidays, I hope you're
Guess
thankful
what?
for...
You can go home for the holidays.
You can go home for the holidays and
Just
the,
don't come back.
the foreseeable future because you don't have jobs anymore. I'm making jokes, but of course, you know,
It sucks.
it sucks for all those involved, and I hope they all find work soon because that game was fine. Like I enjoyed what I played of it. It was like, this is fine. I know years ago it was a bit of a mess apparently on PC, but from the version I played on PS4, it was like a decent Diablo-esque, whatever you want to call type of game. But the most interesting thing I've seen pointed out about this whole news was that Disney/Marvel, or whatever you want to call it, is really quite different these days to, I think, years and years ago with their gaming licenses, or they're beginning to be a lot stricter with them, because the original shutdown of Marvel Heroes was a bit like them being like, this is not up to par, our bar is a lot higher these days, we want to shut this game down. Add that to the Battlefront 2 news last week where they're just like, yeah, no, we only just heard about this star card credit, whatever shenanigans crap going down, shut that shit down. Years and years ago, I just think about all the Marvel crappy license games and whatever else that have been put out over the history of gaming, and they never really cared too much about their characters. But over the last couple of weeks, I think they've been showing a lot more, I don't know, hold on their licenses and what they're going to consider to be passable for gaming and stuff like that. Although, interestingly, I consider Guardians 2 by Telltale to be crap, so I don't know what the hell they're going on there. Anyone have any thoughts, opinions on that, or in general the Marvel Heroes shutdown, Gazillion shutdown, however you want to go?
Do you? I believe they might need to be more involved in the game's developments. Just because, like, Disney, how did you not know about the microtransactions in Battlefront? How did you not know about that crap? Like,
Yeah.
how do you not know about that like that kind of thing in that game? Especially with, Battlefront 2 could have been their biggest marketing tool leading into The Last Jedi, and they've royally screwed the pooch on that one until they had to step in and...
Is it not that probably someone does know there, but only a certain section or team of Disney would know about it? And then maybe with that whole the apparent phone call scenario that happened last week with the Battlefront 2 news, maybe someone way higher up in Disney, the ecosystem heard about it and then yelled down to the lower team guys who did know about the system, the gaming department, and was like, what the fuck? Like, imagine if like the head of Disney or whatever, your Bob Iger, I don't know, someone like suddenly heard about this, doesn't really keep up with everything happening in every department to this minute detail, was like, what the fuck is this I'm hearing about? And then got the call on. So I reckon some people do know, but not ones that care enough.
It's probably not ones that care enough, or, you know, not people that have the insight or business foresight even to see what's going to happen. Like, you'd have to think, if somebody with game industry understanding saw what was going on, they'd instantly pull it up and go, no, you can't do this. We're going to get eaten alive. So maybe my only opinion is that maybe Disney need to put in place more, a better structure or a better system for themselves for development of
They
games.
could hire or put together a specific department that's like people that understand the gaming industry and what people in the games industry like and dislike, and have them oversee the use of all their characters in games and stuff like that, and make sure the projects are running a lot better. Because I swear most of the time, this isn't just Marvel, Disney, whatever characters. It's like anyone that passes out third-party licenses. It's just someone hands them the check or like goes, here's an idea for a game. They're like, yeah, that sounds fun. You can do it for X amount of dollars. Here you go. And then they never seem that involved, really.
Yeah. It's like movie license games where they're just like, get something out that's going to be out around about the time of the movie. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Although, if I'm being honest, I kind of miss some movie licenses. Even if they were shitty, I do miss seeing them on shelves to a certain degree.
Well, they've all been moved to mobile now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or VR experiences.
I played that instant that when Batman v Superman came out, they had like the infinite runner or whatever you call them on your phone game. Just swiping left, swiping right, dodging the cars as Batman and Superman. Yeah, get them coins. Spend $100 on
That actually sounds fun.
in-game goods. Sounds amazing, right?
Got all that microtransactions.
All them microtransactions.
We should start a campaign, a smear campaign to get rid of microtransactions in that game.
In Batman v Superman, the mobile experience.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know how
Let's
I feel
do it.
about
If we
that.
kick up enough storm, they'll change it.
On the VR ones though, I'll tell you, I quite like this trend of putting out VR experiences for I know it doesn't work for you two who don't have PSVR, but as someone who does,
I was so close to owning it.
Yeah.
I was
it
so
pretty
close.
tempting this week.
So close to temp. Just because, and I'd love to know from our audience members how many people that didn't have VR went out and purchased it and took advantage of the Black Friday sales. But that deal was almost too good to say no to. I know 2 people in my office went and grabbed PSVR because of it. So,
I could have brought another one, got the games, and then sold the PSVR in 2 weeks' time for enough to
and
make
made
a
back
profit.
the money and made back the money with freaking 300. And I think the cheapest I saw was like 350 for the camera, the VR unit, and 2 games. Like, the only thing you have to spend is an extra like $100 maybe to get Move controllers, but
Which you don't need for old games, but you should purchase. But like you can use it without them, so it's not the end of the world. If you're like, I'll wait until next pay to buy my plastic wands.
yeah, that's the big thing. And you know what? I'll be even more frustrated if they come out at PSX and be like, "Hey, here's our new VR controllers." I'll be like,
Well, I know that'll be just one of those things where I'll understand people getting upset about it if that's what's happening, but at the same time, I'll be happy because it needs to happen as far as I'm concerned.
"Yeah,
so.
no, they need."
They can't just randomly announce, like, no one buy our controllers for the next 6 months because we have new ones coming out in 6 months or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, that's just bad business.
Hold up, don't do it.
Yeah, that'd just be silly. All right, talking about microtransactions and stuff. The
Everybody's favorite subject.
everyone's favorite subject is going to continue this week, and I didn't plan on talking about this much. But it's the Battlefront 2 loot boxes continue to be a hot topic for many different reasons. So question about Battlefront 2 loot boxes being classified as gambling has come up in the last week in many different places. Hawaii, Victoria, the UK in places, like all these different boards and associations
Isn't it
have been
Sweden?
putting out reports. Sweden, yeah.
It's been
like,
banned in, is it Belgium? Belgium, they're classed as,
Yeah.
they're classed as
it's
gambling.
gambling.
Yeah.
So it's been
There's a lot of laws in China as well, I think.
I wouldn't, the whole fucking game's just probably banned in China, let's be honest. No. So it's been come up about Battlefront 2 has been the catalyst for this, but most of the reports do mention other games like Overwatch with their loot boxes, CSGO with its whatever you call that system, the gun mod box.
CSGO
What do you call
is
it?
dumb.
What do
They're
they call
weapons
it?
caches? Weapons cache?
Wait, caches, yeah, that's
Yep.
whatever that shit
Or
is.
something like that.
It's also worth noting that CSGO is actually a system that has like third-party gambling built, like
Yep.
that you can get into.
Yeah, you can
where
get into
that is like, if you want to argue that CSGO's system isn't actually gambling, you can. However, CSGO does basically just have its own third-party gambling systems built in to use its non-gambling.
I think-
it's a whole fucking rigmarole.
CSGO is the ridiculous one for me because, unlike any other game, so CSO skins, some of Dota has the skins as well, but they're not as bad as CSGO. CSGO has skins, and all their skins have a real life monetary value that can only be bought through Steam. So your money gets stuck. But like literally, you could pull a knife that's worth like $500, $600.
Yep.
Like
I've seen people. I used to know dudes who like played Go so much. They'd be like, one like opened something that was worth like $600-700 or something once, sold it. You know, there's your games. For
I
the
played
next-
CS:GO once. I opened one loot box, got a $150 rifle, which then funded me on Steam for the next couple of weeks because I was like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good with this.
It's also Steam in general. Everything on there is monetized. Like it's for those who don't keep up or understand Steam. So Steam has its own achievement system, and then it has this badge system built into your like profiles. And badges are usually like of a set between like 6 to 12 or something like that. And the cards to get the badges, you need to get the full set, then you'll get the badge. So you get cards for playing, and you'll get like a quarter for free. And then to get the rest of the cards, you need to form the badge that says the badge is basically like the platinum trophy, I guess. To get the badge, you need to get all the cards. To get all the cards, you can buy them from other players in the marketplace with real money. If you don't care about any of the cards, you can sell them for real money. You can trade them with people. And this is basically, really crazy. There was like a bunch of cards I got once that were like 50 cents each, and I just sold them all and then brought some other ones that were worth more somehow and then opened up more. And I went on like one of those tirades where it was like you hear about the dude with the pencil who ends up getting a car like just by slowly trading it for another thing. Just did this with a bunch of fucking cards and stuff, and then I ended up with like $10 on my account. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. I wasted a whole day doing it, but it was a thing that happened. So yeah, Steam is like this really weird in general marketplace where I mean that stuff's not gambling, but money is real life money is more directly built into Steam's ecosystem than it is your PlayStation or your Xbox or your Nintendo systems. Like it's built in there. It's weird. It seems more adult.
It's
Okay.
What does everybody? Sorry, just before you move on, what do people think about being classed as gambling? Because my biggest problem with it is the fact that the gambling that I think is bad or that shouldn't be allowed is gambling where you have the chance of walking away with absolutely nothing, where you actually lose money. You put in $100, you get zero back. You get nothing in return. Where loot boxes, no matter what,
You get the joy
buy,
of potentially winning.
you get the joy of potentially winning from that. But like
Gamble
loot
responsibly.
boxes, you still get something out of it. It might not be exactly what you want, but you might get something out of it. Are they gonna, are they gonna start?
Before answering?
Yeah.
I'll finish because I got quotes.
Oh, okay,
So
fine.
the end of the story was the UK Gambling Division a couple of days ago deemed that Battlefront 2 not as gambling, but the Victorian Commission for Gambling and Liquor has stated that yes, they think it does count as gambling. Jared Wolf, the strategic analyst for the compliance division at the Victorian Gambling Liquor Association thing, said that, quote, loot boxes do constitute as a form of gambling by their definition of them. But unfortunately, where the complexity arises for them is the jurisdiction and our powers to investigate these issues. He then went on to say, if these companies want to include significant elements of gambling in their products, then perhaps we should work with the Australian Classification Board to ensure that any product that does use and monetize elements gets an immediate R rating. And that comes from Kotaku Australia. Right, so this is just the Victorian specific dude, but he's saying that yes, they do deem it as in their eyes, it is deemed as a form of gambling, but they have no way to do anything about that currently with the way the laws and everything like that is. However, you can assume that behind closed doors, they may be trying to find a way to do something about that, I suppose. Do you think slamming an R18 rating on a game like Battlefront 2 straight out the door because it contains loot boxes, or R18 on your Overwatches or whatever else straight out the door because they contain loot boxes would be a world you want to live in? Kieran's shaking his head.
No, that's frustrating as crap just listening to that stuff. This is, all right, I'm going in full argument mode here. Are they going to start going out to every goddamn school fair, school fete, school event,
lucky dip boxes?
Find those goddamn lucky dip boxes and say, no kids can go on those. Because
the ones with the little ducks that you fish out.
Yeah,
and you get a prize.
No, you do not do that. As are they going to go out to carnivals where based
not
on
the Eka?
Yeah, are they going to start doing all that crap?
Or the Royal Melbourne Show. I'm assuming
it's just because the video game industry is making a profit out of these items that they've decided to go after it and label it gambling. You can't buy a loot box and it be empty. It doesn't do that. You don't buy a loot box and there's nothing in it. You can buy a loot box and it's full of crap items that you hate, but that's part of the... And I guess the way they get around with it is because gambling is defined as betting money in a game of chance. So it is a game of chance because you don't know what you're getting in the loot box, but it's just frustrating. It's frustrating as a lover of games and somebody who's put a lot of money into Dota 2 because of loot boxes.
well,
what do you
shouldn't then all virtual gambling games be classified as gambling?
There's a lot of stuff,
especially ones.
I think
where
it is though.
You
can spend real money, like the gambling ones where you can spend real money or fake money. If they give you the choice, I'm pretty sure they are, aren't they?
I don't think they are.
I don't know. Aren't they? Oh, good. It's great.
It's just one of those things where you
what is your definition of gambling then? Let's get everyone's definition of gambling. Ash,
yeah,
what would you describe gambling as?
It's a game of chance where you have a chance of walking away with nothing.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what.
It's 100% what I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I say it's a gamble to buy a packet of Magic the Gathering cards or Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whatever you want, that's
not gambling.
That's not gambling because at least you get something.
You get some cards out of it. It might not be what you want, but you're getting
something.
You're getting something. You can walk away knowing you've got something. You don't. It's like you go to Crown Casino, you lose all your money. You don't walk away with anything. They don't give you like a thanks for playing card or something. They just
that's like that one time I put $2 into a poker machine, shot out $60. I was really drunk. Walked up to a blackjack table, put it all down, lost it. Went cool. That was good to turn that $2 into 60 for all of 30 seconds. Fucking hell, drunk Dylan.
Yeah, that's bad. When you can walk away with
I guess
nothing.
you walked away with a story, so maybe it's not gambling.
The funny story lasts about as long as the time I owned that $60.
But that's the thing.
I mean,
you've then brought up Magic the Gathering cards. Are they gonna put gambling laws on all the booster packs for? If I was whoever gets to defend gaming to them, I would be
on those. They
everything
tell you
down
the
with
odds,
me.
which I'm sure helps. They tell you what are the odds of getting like a really rare card or a super. No, they don't.
No,
They
Magic
don't.
the
They're doing like
completely blind.
trading cards. They do like the sports trading cards,
Sports ones,
like foil cards and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that was, but on like Magic the Gathering or like competitive games, there's no information. There's rumors, but there's no information. Like they say,
remember when
you can't list every single different
Magic
card.
the Gathering nerdy for a sec. Remember when Expeditions came out and they didn't even say like what the chances of you getting an X edition was.
They're only rumors.
It was just like, I remember looking on Twitter for like a bunch of the hardcore Magic the Gathering players I followed. And like some of them are store owners, and they'd be like, oh yeah, so we opened like 6 boxes and we got like 4 expeditions. So that means the chance of getting one is like 1 in fucking 100 packs, or like, so like the player base is working out the chances of you opening stuff.
For those games, the player base, it's like the player base, I don't know. God damn it, we're nerding this episode up so much. Yeah. There was a big scandal in the Pokemon trading card game recently because in one of their sets in the last year, they actually mapped the boxes. So the...
Oh, really? The same spots were the same.
Yeah, like the 7th, the 13th, or like the 20th position.
The legendaries.
Were the super rare cards. And so, store owners were opening the boxes, ripping those boosters out, and then selling the rest.
Cunts.
I
remember at one stage the guy, the manager I knew at my local guff, like he thought he'd cracked the system for when Modern Masters 1 came out. Like he wasn't trying to be dodgy. He's like, I think I'm onto something, Dylan. He's like, I swear it's like 3 down on the left, like 4 when you open a pack. I'm like, all right, I trust you. Give me a pack. Open it. The worst rare ever. I'm like, you're fucking full of shit.
Got him. Got him.
You fucking got me. I hate you so much.
Got him.
You're a terrible person. I don't know. Every time I think about gambling, I also think about like not just the idea of like being able to get something more for what you put in. So like that's how it starts. Everyone thinks about gambling. They think about casinos. Like the idea of putting in the $2, getting the 60, like I got, I suppose. Whereas loot boxes, it's just like you put in stuff, you have a chance to... It's not like you're doubling your money or something like that. But then anything to do with gambling, I also think about the like addictive nature of it, I guess, which a lot of these systems have, be it your actual gambling with money, be it your systems in CSGO, be it the loot boxes, I believe, can have an addicting element to them still. So, I don't know what Overwatch is... What's Overwatch rated?
I think it's like M. Oh, give me
M?
a second.
M probably.
Double check.
Something like that. So at least then that's fine. Because my point would be that in a world where Overwatch is rated G, I would be highly against it being rated G solely for the
teen. So whatever.
Teen. Yeah.
Be M.
Because I'm like, even if the loot boxes isn't actually a form of gambling, which I don't think it is, I agree with what Yuzaval said. But the nature of it being an addictive thing you can get into and then spend money on, especially like younger kids and stuff like that, where they can get addicted to wanting to just open the loot boxes. Because as someone who's, played plenty of Magic the Gathering, and Ciaran would probably say the same, like the feeling of opening new packs is like, it can be addicting.
Oh, but I gave up opening new packs in the end.
Yeah, but
because I was like buying singles. I don't need to do this.
When you get but I can see younger kids or something like that, especially with like a loot box system, just getting addicting to the feeling of opening that and opening like a really rare item or something like that. And that's the only thing I would worry about. And that's the only thing when I hear about them wanting to hire. I don't think it needs to be rated R, but I don't think if something has loot box elements in it, it definitely shouldn't be rated G or PG or whatever. Like, it should be 15 plus.
Do you really think there would be any difference if they rated the game R? Do you think sales would be affected at all?
For the 10 parents in the whole of Australia who actually use our fucking rating system.
I think, for me, though, the frustrating... I don't think you can... If you start rating things based on addictiveness, then... a whole lot of stuff in our society would need to start being regulated and monitored. Because, there would need to be more restrictions on McDonald's. There would need to be more restrictions on, on anything you could label as quote-unquote addictive, like soft drinks, Coca-Cola. They'd need to be...
I'm just talking about,
Like, if you're going to rate it on addictiveness, are you going to then, imagine the day where you walk into, the shop and you have to ask for Coca-Cola or Pepsi, whichever you prefer, behind the counter. Like, it's in, a glass thing. You have to, get it out and be like, here you go, where's your ID for this? That would be shit.
I suppose, but I think I'm just thinking, in the video game spectrum, I suppose.
The problem is when these people have to define something, they have to define it in such a broad way that it covers all things. because there'll always be somebody that sees it, like I have, that sees how they label video games and be like, wait a minute, why aren't you labeling this crap as that then as well? And then it becomes a whole shit fight.
I always remember, I just thought of it just now. I always remember being, as a kid, I was always amused by the fact that Pokemon was rated PG and it was only rated PG for gambling. Like that was
Yeah.
like without that it would probably just be G. But because it had the gambling
The
in it,
coin.
and it wasn't, the coin slot
ring,
machines.
yeah.
And it's not like Pokemon was a game where you could put real money in or even had the choice to do that. It was just using your fake money in the game. But it was just the idea of imprinting gambling type stuff
Habits.
into a young child's mind made it have to be rated.
Yeah, like I really
PG, I
hated the
suppose.
moments where I was like walking down the streets of like one of the cities, like trying to sell off my Pokemon in exchange for coins to go back to the gambling machines. Like,
Yeah.
that was a real low point in my Pokemon training career.
Like
Yeah.
that moment I had to suck dick to
Yeah,
get enough
I
coins
was
to-
just like,
Because by that point you'd beaten all the other trainers, so you had no other way of making money.
we'll shine Pokeballs for gambling.
What is the money called in Pokemon? Credits? I don't even.
It's some weird currency. It's not-
It's some-
Coins?
No, it's not Pokecoin.
No, it's just, I just know the weird symbol. That's
It's
all.
a weird
Yeah, it is a
symbol.
weird
and everybody's
symbol.
just like, it's a weird symbol.
Nobody ever says what the dollar is, what it's called.
Pokemon
What the dollar?
currency? What the dollar?
Yeah,
It's just called Pokemon dollar.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's just called
Pokedy
Pokemon
doos.
dollar.
That's disgusting. That's terrible. I don't know how to feel
mean-
about that. All right. Anyone have any
right.
last thoughts on
Yeah, they should.
gambling
Each
and-
region should have their own type of currency, like in the real world.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
I don't like that though.
Johto dollar.
What?
Yeah.
I actually
What
don't
kind
like
of
that.
world has a unified?
I know.
I
What
wish
kind
we
of-
had a
What kind
unified
of
dollar.
fascist world is the Pokemon world? You know.
In a world where I can buy stuff from different countries' websites and stuff. Do you not just wish we had a world where?
Yeah, I wish it was that
just-
way, but it doesn't.
It's
work
not,
that way.
but I wish it was. It would make life so much better. Like, fuck, just Jesus Christ. You know why it won't happen though? It's because
You know what,
on.
people? You need to grab 2 of each animal and run to the hills because it's the end of the world. Start investing in Bitcoin, people.
okay,
Okay, that was a bit extreme.
Ciaran's officially lost it. You can tweet at your boy Ringo. Are you okay? And yeah, with that, I'm done. Ash, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. It's a thing.
Shout out to Review Culture. Shout out
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
shout out to
to
Buddy
Buddy.
Watson for that. I had a good chuckle.
You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVALADIL. I already pimped Kieran's Twitter, but if you want to pimp Twitch, you can fucking do that if you want.
Twitch.tv/Explosion Network.
Okay, I was just testing you'd get it right because last time you started saying
fucked
you're,
it up.
you're
I fucked
where
it
you
up
used to
royally.
work. Fired. You can follow the show on Twitter at ExplosionPod. You can go to www.explosionnetwork.com for all the other great things and stuff like that. And yeah, you can email platinum at explosionnetwork.com. Send mail. There's no hashtag every trophy counts this week because no
Because
fucking
trophies
games that
don't
came
count.
out. They all look shit. They all just boring
Isn't
bunch
there
of
like
trophies.
a Black Mirror game? I saw?
Nah, fucking
Is that
care about it.
no
This Tom will
interesting?
yell at me later. He's like, you didn't talk about the trophies for the stupid airplane game or whatever the fuck. Fuck you, Tom, and your fucking Kiwi land. See you, nerds. Bye. Plat, plat.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Cruisy Mate here with all you need to know about November here at the Explosion Network. Firstly, we would like to extend a big thank you to everyone who donated to our Extra Life campaign to help the big, beautiful kids. You can check out all our challenge videos going up on YouTube over the month of November. While you're over there, check out all our PAX coverage, the Explosion Network's first convention. We have a bunch of videos going up on all the games we played over at bit.ly/Explosion Network. Also, our Best of 2017 awards start in late November, so get pumped for that with more information to come soon. And don't forget, Older on Explosion continues every Friday at 12 PM if you want your weekly dose of Star Wars hype leading up to The Last Jedi. And you know, all our weekly shows will continue, Pleasure on Mondays, Plat on Tuesdays, and Grandstand Gurus goes live on Thursdays, all at 12 PM. And finally, we will be returning to full form over on twitch.tv/Explosion Network with all our weekly streams. So keep your targets locked on explosionnetwork.com for all of the explosive content. Plat, plat!
It's like
Really
the
is the
shortest
end of the
episode
world.
ever.
What the fuck?
This is
It's just the end. It's the end is die. Fucking
No,
run
it's-
away. Fucking run away.
no trophies.
whole time I was doing
no
the
trophy
outro.
talk. No, mail.
trophies,
No nothing.
No mail. No nothing. It's just the end. It's just like this is the Beatles all over again. Not again.
I could tell the
Who's
whole
John
time I was
Lennon?
doing the outro, looking at Kim's face, he was like, is he serious or is
are
he
we
joking?
really ending? It's like this is. I'm just looking at the time. Like it's like 39 minutes. I'm so
Look.
confused.
It's about the quality of the episode, and when they got to end, they got to end, and that one had to end. Shut it down. It's over.